Hi guys, welcome back to Skyrim Anniversary Edition. In today's episode, I am going to be showing you the best, in my opinion, the best starting guide in and for Skyrim Special Edition or Anniversary Edition, depending on which version of Skyrim you are playing on. Now, if you're new here and you're not familiar with my channel, I do a lot of Let's Plays and various different location walkthroughs with the occasional like house showcase for Skyrim. But I figured that I would do a best starting guide for you guys with a few tips and tricks. Now, I know there have been many Skyrim best starting guide for Skyrim on YouTube, and I figured I would just put my hand in the proverbial pot, cookie jar, so to speak. But without that being said, let us begin. So let me be the first to tell you, race doesn't matter in the Elder Scrolls. It mattered in older games like Morrowind or Daggerfall, where you were kind of level locked or like class locked in certain classes and builds and stuff like that. But in Skyrim, it doesn't really matter all that much. It kind of mattered in Oblivion, but not really. But in Skyrim, it doesn't really matter. As a matter of fact, you could be whatever you want, however you want to be. If you wanted to be a Bosmer two-wielding, warrior, you could do that. If you wanted to be a Khajiit tank, you can do that. If you wanted to be a sneaky high elf, you can do that. There's no limitations on what you want to do. Now, with all that being said, let me show you the races for what I would consider if you wanted to be a min-maxer, right? And I'll go through the classes and the skills and stuff and what I would recommend for a first time playthrough. If you really are going to min-max or just stick to a build and go with it. Now you can do like a jack of all trades. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with being a jack of all trades. But sometimes it is good to follow a build and going through all the motions and stuff. Now, with the races in particular, let me show you what they are. Well, let me tell you what they are. For warrior, you want to go with Nord, Imperial, Orc, or Redguard. Those are the four for warrior. For a thief, you want to go Argonian, Wood Elf, or Khajiit. For a mage, you want to go with Breton, High Elf, or Dark Elf. So those are the races that you have to choose from if you're actually going out of your way to make a build for your character. But like I said, any race can do anything at any time. You could even switch between skills if you got bored or your max level. You're like, say if you're playing like a two-handed Nord warrior, right? You can go and you can switch it up and be like a archer character, right? If you're doing the Thieves Guild or something like that. But really, those are like the best races for those kinds of or the best races for those kinds of builds. Now, with all that being said, and let me just be the first to tell you, there are many skills you can go through with them. What I recommend is having a major skill and also a supporting class with maybe a miscellaneous skill to go along with it. There's really nothing wrong with it. So let me actually show you real quick. So here are your skills. Right, you have destruction, restoration, alteration, enchanting, smithing, heavy armor, block, etc. So, if you're going with a major class, I would either recommend two-handed, one-handed, or archery. Or if you're going magic, destruction, conjuration, because conjuration can kind of be a double-edged sword in terms of either support or offense or defense, right? Now, the reason I say that is because if you're using bound weapons, sorry, I got something in my nose. If you're using bound weapons, those can be considered offensive skills. However, if you're using something like actual conjuration skills, then those would be considered supporting classes. Now, illusion is more of a support class. It really doesn't. I don't know though, unless you're like using like the fear spell, which is more of an offensive spell. Restoration can be an offensive skill, but it's more of a supporting class. Alteration, same thing. Enchanting again is more of a miscellaneous supporting class, or miscellaneous skill line. So is smithing. Now, for the supporting classes, I would go with heavy armor or light armor. But if you're actually going out of your way to make a build, like say if you're going for a stealth archer, I would say archery, light armor, and sneak would be your archery would be your major skill, light armor and sneak would be your supporting skill, with maybe, I don't know, say alchemy if you wanted to go that far, or archery and illusion, or archery and conjuration if you're going for the bound bow, which I did make a video on, so if you want to check that out. Bound bow, or if you're saying destruction, you could go destruction or block, right? You could use a shield along with it. There's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, so those are really the skills, right? Or if you're doing a thief character and you're not using, and you're just using, like, I would say one-handed and sneak, lock picking or pickpocketing, along with speech, because, you know, thieves are savvy in terms of that, right? With maybe alchemy, right? Like maybe you want to poison somebody, right? Or maybe do a little bit of poisoning on an NPC or something like that. So those are pretty much all the skills that you have at your disposal. Now then, and don't mind the shaking of the camera. I actually kind of messed up my loader a little bit, but that's nothing too fancy. I just, you know, went back to a save where I had everything. Now, for video's sake, I will be basically console commanding all of the NPCs, rendering them dead. So do keep that in mind, so you don't have to worry about that. As a matter of fact, let me do something real quick. All right. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. That way you guys don't have to worry about the camera shaking. Now, when you're escaping Helgen, make sure you get everything from inside Helgen Keep. When you first enter, there's this giant room with a bunch of potions inside and a bunch of like food ingredients and everything like that. Make sure you pick those up, because if you're playing on survival mode, they can be very useful from the start. Also the potions, so make sure you pick those up. However, if you are playing on survival mode, which, you know, the game gives you the options as soon as you come out here, if you want to turn it on or not. However, if you are technically speaking, of course, not just your first time, don't worry about survival mode. You could always turn it back on later. Now then, with you know, going through the Helgen Keep, you get through this like dungeon torture area. Make sure to pick up all the mage robes. You'll see why in a moment. Basically, you pick up these 2 robes, right, along with the gold. And also, you want to be sure you pick up the frostbite venom. There's going to be a little spider den along with a bear in the next room. So you want to make sure you pick up this bear pelt as well as the bear claws, because you could use them for either crafting or alchemy. Now, when you escape Helgen, you will be meted by immediately the game itself. But I'm going to show you. This is where the part of the video, well, hopefully will leave us a timestamp. But if you're, you know, So kind of skip to this general direction. I'll hopefully leave a timestamp and right around 10 minutes or so. So yeah. But in any case, so we are going to make a hard left and we're going to go over here, as there's a couple of locations that we are going to take a look at. And you come down this path, right? And you see a little camp area. You want to be sure you pick up all this stuff. I'm not going to pick it up just because. Now this is a light armor skill peak, so make sure you want to sell that. So you just do this, boom. Now do take care of these guys. Like I said, I am going to there we go. All right, so you want to be sure to pick up the that gal actually had a all right, where was that other guy? There's usually a third guy. Ow. There he is. All right. All right, now, with all that being said, and make sure you pick up any ingredients you have along the way. I think that is pretty much it, because these ingredients are going to be helpful later. So now we want to go, as a matter of fact, I'm going to toggle on God mode real quick. Just so to make this video a little bit easier. And pick up the butterflies. Now there is another hidden camp that is very hard to miss. Make sure you pick up any and all ingredients. I'm only going to pick up a few. The reason I am picking up these ingredients or these flowers is because one, the overall. Now I'm not going to pick up every single ingredient, but basically the path that I'm going to choose for you to go to is pretty simple and straightforward. All right, so get to this stump. You want to take a left. All right. Goodbye, guys. Like I said, I'm not gonna. I don't want this video to be too long. Ooh, that guy actually had a an amethyst or garnet or whatever. But basically, this is treasure, and I'll show you where the treasure is in a moment. And now, feel free to pick this up. But like I said, if you're playing on survival mode, the one thing I will say about survival mode is that it cuts your inventory from 300 to 150. So it basically cuts it in half. Now then, you want to come over here, right? You want to come over here. And there are some Talos worshippers, but the reason we are here, we're going to make sure you check these. This person has some gold on them. All right. Now this person always has a randomly enchanted pair of boots, whether it's or a piece of armor, I should say. So I'm going to grab this and grab that. Make sure you grab the Thalmor robes because they will be useful later. Now, the one thing I will say, do not sell the enchanted stuff, because I will show you where you can find a very useful spot to disenchant them. Now, here are the Guardian Stones. Now, depending on how what you decided to do, You have the warrior, the mage, and the thief. I'm just going to go with the thief just because for shits and giggles. Now, it is recommended to go up to Ember Shard Mine to get like some leveling and everything like that. But basically, there are a couple of locations, right? There's Ember Shard Mine, which is kind of right off the beaten path. There is Red Oren's Retreat, Silent Moon's Camp, crap, I can't remember where, Halted Stream Camp, White River Watch, and Valtheim Towers, which, you know, they're all in the vicinity around Whiterun and everything like that. So it's not really going to matter as much. It's not really going to matter as much, but that is a good way to level up and everything. So I don't know if you have noticed, but there are a few like flowers and everything like that. Now, the one thing I didn't mention, and I will mention right now, is that depending on who you decide with, it does not matter who you side with in the grand scheme of things. The reason I say that is because it doesn't actually impact the story. It kind of does, but not really. It doesn't actually impact the story as much. But basically, whether you go with Hadvar or you go with Rayloff. Most people side with Rayloff just because you get the armor that the Imperials have on them are worth a lot of gold. But if you go with Hadvar, you actually get to, you know, befriend a blacksmith, essentially. So depending on what you decide to do, and here is the log, the aforementioned, actually had some pretty decent loot in it. So if you look at the treasure map, right, you see that it had that the treasure is in a hollow out log right next to a town. It actually says Riverwood on it. We're going to actually come over here, right, because there's a few things that we can get, and I'll show you why in a moment. Now, usually there's like a random encounter around here, but I haven't really seen any. I mean, I have on a couple of my playthroughs, but still. Now, normally this person will be outside, but since I toggled kill all in a foot radius, so this is an alchemist skill book. And here you want to disenchant all that stuff, and that'll give you a free level up. Excuse me. And then you can kind of, you can basically read this letter, right? There we go. And you can kind of get a backstory on this lady here, where you will know that she is a hag. She was a hag raven or a witch, right? That that she will attack you when you first come here, when you go down there and you come back out and stuff. So do keep that in mind. Oh, also, before I go, there is it down here? Yes, it is down here. Okay. There is another little hidden gem. But essentially, you come over here and you want to take this flawless emerald. So let me show you where I am on the map. So here's how Anissa's cabin, and here's where I am, kind of off the beaten path. So before you get to Anissa's cabin, look for this tree, and then there, and then in a kind of a rib cage of sorts, you can get it. Now, I am going to go through the Bleak Falls Barrow, so do keep that in mind. And I'll show you a few chests that you probably may have missed, essentially. Alright.
Did I see you talking to Sven? Maybe not.
Alright, so here's the blacksmith, but we're not going to go over there just yet.
Good dog.
All right, so there's really nothing here unless you've like really sided with people. Now, there is a quest to get Lucan's Claw and everything. Which you can find in the Riverwood Trader. All right. There we go. All right. These people usually have gold on them. And arrows. You can take the hunter's bow if you want. There's a gold piece. Now, another thing to note is that if you're using Anniversary Edition, depending on if you're using Anniversary Edition, there are two bows, right? One is Creation Club, the other is not Creation Club. And I see a lot of people... Sorry, that was my phone. I see a lot of individuals not really talking about the other bow that isn't Creation Club and everything. So just, you know, overall keep that in mind and everything. So
Is someone there?
yes, there we go. Like I said, this will all make sense in a minute. Oh, also, before I forget, there is another vanilla secret. So you come around here, right? And here is a little secret that many people don't even know about. Usually has a garnet, an amethyst, or just random jewelry and stuff. I'm just going to grab all this gold because we'll need it. Here's one chest. All right, you come over here, right? And many people miss this little chesty chest. Usually it has some random level loot. Actually take that potion. And usually there's a spider here, so take that. Make sure you loot all this stuff. Loot all those spider ingredients and everything like that. So so all these guys are dead. Up here. Now you can loot all these Draugr later, or if you want to. Come down here. Here's another chest. Pretty decent loot. Whoa. Now, when you come over here and when you get the claw, you want to turn everything twice. There you go. Now, usually this guy is around here somewhere. Hold on. Hmm. Interesting. Oh well, I guess I'm not getting the Dragonstone. Does not matter. Basically, the moral of the story is you can come here, get the claw and everything will be just fine. Now, don't do what I do, you know, especially, well, console players can't do this, but, you know, still though. Hold on. I wanted to start this from the stables.
They say Helgen got hit by a dragon.
All right.
We'll pay whatever it takes, but we must have more swords for the Imperial soldiers.
Now, the best two-handed weapon in the game, in my opinion, is the Ebony Blade, which I have a video on. Now, the only downside with getting the Ebony Blade is that you need to be at least level 20 and have start the Dragon Rising quest. So, really, you know, for the early stage of the game, you know, what it is. Now,
Keep your balance.
and that's basically the best weapon in the game, in my opinion, because one, it has an infinite charge, and also it has an absorb health enchantment that heals you every single time you hit something. So you'll pretty much be healing faster than the enemy can really dish out damage to you. So the reason I'm in the Companions Hall is because of one reason and one reason alone. This is the other bow that I was talking about. Oh my goodness.
Make it quick.
This is the other bow as I was talking about. So you want to come over here into Ayala's room. Now, normally, a smart person would say, oh yeah, unlock the chest and everything like that. But, make sure you close the door. If you actually look over here, you'll see that you can actually steal the bow from here. And there you go. Now, I'm just going to unlock this. But, obviously make a save. You know, when if you're doing this like legitly, but this is just a guide, so it's like whatever. But this is an archery skill book, you know, is what it is. But yeah, and also this is actually a good opportunity to rob the entire companions blind, you know, while they're fighting and everything like that. So do keep that in mind if you wanted to come here and actually get a decent bow at level 1. Now you want to come up here to the Jarl. And this is how to get the other bow, which I will show you a quick way to do it so you don't have to go through the whole process. Since I already made a video on it, I will leave a link to the in the description, or you could just use this guide.
What's the meaning of this interruption? Jarl Balgruth is not receiving visitors.
I just think we need more information.
Well, that explains why the guards let you in. Come on then.
So
the Jarl
you
will
were
want
at
to speak to
Helgen.
you personally.
You saw this dragon with your own eyes? But it's none of my... What do you say now, Prevent?
My
One
lord,
moment.
we should send troops to
One
Riverwood at
moment.
once. It's in the most
One
immediate
moment.
danger. That dragon is lurking in the mountains.
It's a provocation. He'll assume we're preparing to join Ulfric's side and attack him. We should
Enough! I'll not stand idly by while a dragon burns my hold and slaughters my people. Irileth, send a detachment to Riverwood at once.
I don't know why my hands are so discolored.
If you'll excuse me,
I have no idea.
I'll return to my duties.
That would be best. Well done. You sought me out on your own initiative. You've done Whiterun a service, and I won't forget it. Here, take this as a small token of my esteem. There is another thing you could do for me. Suitable for someone of your particular talents, perhaps? Come, let's go find Farengar, my court wizard. He's been looking into a matter related to these dragons and rumors of dragons.
I serve Jarl Balgruuf.
All right, so you want to ask him if there's anything he needs from me.
Of course. It's all in this note.
All right, in the shadows, steward's note. You can read this yourself. I'm not going to read it, but you want to actually read the steward's note. And now we go to Arcadia's Cauldron. Now, the reason I picked up all those ingredients is actually because, okay, so she's not going to be open in yet. So let's wait a little bit. Go.
Got something for just about everybody.
Now, you can, so let me show you where, real quick. You can, when you are gathering ingredients, right, from Helgen all the way up to Riverwood, you can go to the Riverwood, the Sleeping Giant Inn, and do alchemy there. You'll also be able to pick up a few quests, or you can just get it from here. Either way, make the potions. Okay, we're not going to deal with that. We deal with that right now. You deal with the, you make the potions, and you can sell them for a pretty price. And that is actually a great way to get money early on in the game. And so now, yeah, obviously there's a. All right, so like I said, well, I'm just gonna open them and close them. All right. All right, so now pick up these ebony arrows if you want, but you can also read this. It's actually a very good backstory, honestly, if I'm being honest. Pick up that boss chest if you wanted to. I'm not going to. You can actually clear out this place and stuff. I'm not going to. All right, so now we have to go back to Dragon's Reach. Now, this guy will be invisible. Keep that in mind. All right. Now, actually, make sure the quest is activated.
One of the new
And,
servants?
oh, hush now, child. Okay, so he will be up there. Now I'm in God mode, but it doesn't really matter. Now, dude, now on a normal playthrough, all right, and that gives you the bow of shadows.
I serve Jarl Balgruuf as... Excellent. You've done us a great service. Here is your reward.
All right, and I am pelted with ebony arrows. Jesus Christ. Anyways, guys, yeah, I mean, that's a 40-minute video right there, you know, down the tube. It took a while, but you know, it is what it is. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this episode, and if this video did help you out and is a quick like how-to guide on what to do and everything, if you're new here, I don't edit any of my videos, so you know, this was just a way to kind of like say, hey, this is how to do it legitly without with also like, well, okay, so legitly you would have to say, oh yeah, like shoot 'em, you know, shoot him, and or like you would have to do it like legit, like if you're doing like a legit game playthrough and everything, then obviously, you know, it was just for me to say, hey, this is what to do, I am showing you what to do, this is how to do it. Anyways, guys, I'll catch you all on the next one. If you did enjoy this episode, make sure to leave a like, comment your thoughts down below, subscribe to the channel, and I will catch you all in the next one. If you want to join the Discord as well, follow me on Twitch. I'm probably going to go, yeah, I mean, hey, who knows? You might find me live right now. Yeah, I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.